Hello and welcome to season 1, episode 6 of the You'll Have That podcast. I'm joined here by Wassup and Jaboon. Um, Welcome everyone, and let's go ahead and get started.
So thanks for joining us, guys, and we're gonna talk about a little bit about a phenomenon that's occurred now. It's been huge. The Helldivers 2 game, that thing has took the market and completely put it on its head. Um,
100%.
it's such a huge game that no one expected to happen. Completely came out of left field. I mean, like, and no one saw this coming. I didn't even know what this game was. I would say about 2 weeks ago. I literally didn't even know it existed. Um, so there's a lot of stuff we can talk about with this. I want to start off with congratulations to Arrowhead on this game. I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park. I think it's such a fun game for $40. I mean, way to put a big middle finger to all the AAA and now Ubisoft's quadruple A thing, which we'll talk about later. So awesome, love it. Now, the biggest issue with it, though, and I feel like this is Helldivers 2 suffering from its own success, um, is obviously the server capacity issues.
My friends show me that all the time. I'm getting constant DMs of people with server errors and I'm able to
Yeah,
log in.
yep, and I personally have the game. I've been playing it. I love it. And I can sit on that server at capacity screen for like 3 hours plus and still not get in, which is really disheartening because I want to play. So I think there's a big oversight on that, and it's understandable when you kind of look at their previous game, which there was a Helldivers 1. I don't know if many of you know that. They peaked at, I think, around 7,000 players peak. So it was a really like niche kind of game. They didn't really expect it to blow up as much. Obviously, they didn't expect over 400,000 people to be playing at one time. So when that happened, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. It's like, oh yay, our game's super popular and it succeeded, but at the same time, it's like, crap, we didn't see this coming and our servers are dying. So yeah, I kind of want to talk about that aspect, and we'll get more into like comparing it to other games and how this is like a proof of concept almost in a way to showcasing how if you make a good game, people want to play it. It's simple as that. So what do you guys think about Helldivers 2? And I mean, I know like some of you did. I don't think Twiz or Jaboon played it, but you guys kind of seen some streams of it and stuff. So what do you guys think? Like, what do you think of the whole game and stuff?
I'm gonna let Twiz start. I like hearing what Twiz has to say first, usually. So go on, bro.
Um, uh, from what I've seen, it looks like a decent game. It's the graphics are good. The gameplay is good whenever you can actually get onto the servers. Um, it's very reminiscent of like I don't know, like kind of like Warframe a little bit,
Yeah.
mixed in with maybe a little bit of Destiny. Um, and that's good for people that like that type of game and stuff like that. I thought about buying it, but then whenever I saw the server issues, I was like, you know what, I'll wait. Um, but all in all, yeah, I mean, $40 for this game. I don't know exactly how much content it has. I don't know if you're going to be able to get on and just run right through it in a week's time or whatever. But so far, from what I've seen, it looks decent. Um, that goes to show that you can make a damn good game for $40 instead of slapping a $70 price tag on it, like much like Ubisoft did with Skull and Bones, and the CEO continues to
Quadruple A.
defend a $70 price tag on, you know, excuse my language, but a dog shit title.
And the thing with Skull and Bones is it feels like a stripped down Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which everyone
Right.
wanted Black Flag, but in a bigger world. That's what we all wanted. And they
So
took.
I gotta ask, what is Skull and Bones? Like an open world pirate game or whatever?
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much,
So think of you played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know the ship aspect of it, just that part, trim it down a little bit, and that's the whole game. That's it.
Well, like, why wouldn't I just go play, something like what is it?
World of
Sea of
Warships.
Thieves.
Well, yeah, Sea of Thieves, World of Warships, something like that. Then
I mean, granted, World of Warships is more of just like a battle game and everything. But
World of Warships
like,
is a bit different. I think Sea of Thieves is more akin to it. That's like a pirate game. It's a more pirate game.
yeah,
I get people probably want like a more realistic, pirate game, and I'm all for that. I love.
But
those
it's not
kind of games.
realistic. That's the funny
But
part.
yeah, I know. I've watched I watched my friend. His name was Black Ghost or something. He's a full-time streamer on Twitch, and I watched gameplay of it. Dude was constantly crashing. Mind you, this guy has a 4090, one of the best processors in the world right now, and he's getting constant crashes in this game. Yet he plays other games that are way more demanding and runs just fine. And
Yeah.
it just doesn't look like a good game right now.
Exactly, and the reception that's met with Skull and Bones has been lackluster. I mean, you can just tell like not a lot of people are interested.
Yeah, I hear it's just I think it's kind of like one of those games that it's gonna get like the Fallout 76 treatment where it launched, everybody was dogging it, but it's not gonna get better like Fallout 76 did. It's just gonna fly under the radar.
Yeah.
You're gonna forget about it. Yeah. And it's gonna be in a development hell.
Well, whenever you have a CEO that sits and defends it at every turn and says that it's a great game, and the $70 price tag is,
Oh, it's worth it
So wait,
because
who is the director for
totally
the game? Who
worth
made
it. I can look. Hold on.
All right, cool.
So go ahead. Let's fact check real quick.
Yeah. I want to add on a little bit that this game has actually been through development hell for like I think close to 8 years because they're with a contract.
Ubisoft.
I think
I know it's,
do you know the game director?
Who's the director, the guy who said that? Like, oh, it's a great game, or it's worth $70.
It was the CEO of Ubisoft.
Oh, it's the CEO.
So the same dude who said that basically for people to get comfortable with subscriptions.
Yes.
Or not owning their games. Dude,
yeah, Yves Guillemot.
Why are we seeing? I feel like this guy's defending a lot of just like the stuff that is not going well in the industry right now.
Which is so weird to see contrast with Helldivers 2 essentially like showing everyone like, look, the stuff you're doing is not working. Clearly it's not where it's at. Sorry, go ahead.
At the same time, you don't only have Helldivers 2, but you also have Palworld.
Oh, Palworld, a $30 game that people already have over 400 hours in, and not even looking back. Like no one's even complaining. And this game's in early access. This game is like literally not even fully released yet, and it's already got that many players. So I feel like as an industry, Ubisoft, as one of the market leaders here, could take a lesson. All right.
They're very tone deaf.
Absolutely.
Very tone deaf.
Absolutely.
Much like most of the CEOs in 2024. The reports have came out for all of these companies, this fictitious inflation that every company is guilty of. Steel mills, where they shut down mills to do this fake inflation and fake demand. They're up 111,000%
Oh wow.
in profits.
Jeez.
Record profits never has been seen in the history of this country. And this is what they're doing, and I don't have the list in front of me, but there's plenty that have much like the same kind of profits. And they're raising the prices to everything at an unsustainable rate, and they're all tone deaf.
Yeah.
It is just moving more money from the middle class and trying to do away with it. It's disgusting, and we've talked about this a lot in our podcast. All of these companies don't care about the consumer. All they care about is the bottom line.
So you're saying that essentially they're making artificial scarcity, right? To drive the I got you.
Well, that's exactly what they did, and I believe the the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is actually starting to look into these companies that have done this artificial inflation. I'm not, now don't quote me. I believe that is what I read, but I could be wrong. But yeah, like if they aren't looking into them, they need to start, because they just published
Mm-hmm.
the numbers, because that's, the FTC has to publish the
Yeah,
numbers
yeah, it's
every year
public. Yeah, it's public
of
knowledge.
what every company makes.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to tell me that this scarcity caused it to where you can make 111,000% more than what you have ever made in your company's entire history in this country.
Yeah.
Gas, the gas companies and stuff, they've made record profits to the tune of 600%.
Wow.
All right, 600%.
That's insane. Especially in our current economy right now, that is absurd.
Yep. And then there was another thing where they had released like the food is only up like 2.3%.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, all the list of food and its percentages that it went up, none of it's 2.3. It's well above that. So it's all like, okay, the math doesn't math right there. Y'all need to figure that one out, because we can see on that end that we're being lied to.
I'd just like to say hi to Noah in chat. How you doing, Noah?
Hi,
Thanks for
Noah.
joining us.
Hi, Noah. What's up?
I'd like to agree with Twiz here. I mean, it definitely feels like this is a thing where someone's cooking the books, and we're the ones that are essentially affected here. And I think when you look at not only, like you said, with gas prices and the food and stuff like that, you even look at it in terms of the gaming industry's even taking a page out of that book.
That's what I was about to say next, is the gaming industry didn't take a page out of that book. Everybody else took a page out of the gaming industry's book, because if you remember, the first inflation that we did see was with NVIDIA GPUs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they skyrocketed because of the shortage, right?
Right. In that time, GPUs skyrocketed. Video games went from $50 to $60 a pop. Then they went from $60 to $70 a pop. These companies test the waters with their consumers to see how much can they squeeze out of us.
Yeah.
And then only when they get enough of that competition, which we've seen with, like, at least with GPUs, AMD, when back in like 2020, 2021, they did like their whole RX 5600, 5700 XT.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is there's just not enough competition to bring these, not competition, but somebody needs to slap these guys in the face and show them, hey, we need to give them enough value to come back down to normal price.
I think Intel Arc was like on the cusp of doing that, because Intel Arc actually was pretty decent.
Well,
for being
they
a
still
first.
are. There's new drivers that got.
Oh no, I know. I'm not
released.
saying it's canceled or anything. Like, I'm not saying they dropped the ball or something. But I feel like Intel Arc should continue with what they're doing and release some higher tier GPUs to compete.
Well, I can also tell you why the NVIDIA GPUs dropped in price as well, and that's because they got sanctioned by the U.S. government and cannot sell 4080 and 4090s to China, which was a large part of their market. That's why you saw the supers being released as soon as they were, and everything else got dropped in price, which, you're not going to find 4070s and 4060s and stuff on the shelves too much longer, because they're not making them. In other words, they're sending that supply over to China.
Fair enough.
Like, with Helldivers, I mean, I know we went a little not off topic, but we kind of
deviated.
And deviated, but still kind of in relation to like just the price tag and all that. When I see Helldivers is, I think it's another thing with, like, get Lethal Company, Power World, and all them come out. These great games are just now coming out of nowhere from like these studios that, or even just single devs that haven't really heard of. The finals,
yeah,
exactly. And I feel like hopefully we can keep seeing that, as long as the devs keep working well and the publishers keep working well. Which, big props to the people over at, what is this, Arrowhead? I don't know how you guys managed to get Sony to release on PC on day one.
Right.
But you guys have my applaud for that. If you guys can keep that up, we will have Sony coming to a more PC, friendly market, which would be a huge feat.
And hear me out. Like, I'm kind of curious. Do you guys think this is Sony essentially doing a goodwill gesture? Because Microsoft is not doing any more what's it called? Exclusives. Do you think this is Sony like, hey, we like that idea. Here's a teaser of what could happen, sort of thing?
Honestly, I think is what it is Microsoft has Sony running scared is what it is at this point because one of the titles that Sony has current exclusives to is the Call of Duty franchise, Activision. That contract runs out at the end of this year. It will no longer be a title for Sony PlayStation ever because now Microsoft owns Activision. So all of that falls away to the wayside. Hopefully, all of these companies stops with this exclusive shit because at the end of the day, if people like your console, people are going to buy your console. If people like your PC, they're going to buy your PC. It doesn't matter. All right.
Right.
Um,
It's an anti-consumer practice in the end.
it very much is because what happens is if Sony has its own exclusives and Xbox has its own exclusives and PC has its own exclusives and Nintendo has its own exclusives, guess what? The consumer has to have each and every single one of those.
The price to
And
entry is a lot higher, right?
nobody is going to buy every single platform.
Not to
No
mention
one.
with all these consoles, you have to pay online or pay to play online,
That's
Yep.
true.
which we've
Yeah.
talked about for years.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's not going to go away anytime soon because that's like one of their main things of revenue. But
Well, I think Xbox is actually dropping that practice. Because
that would
they
be
have Game
that's
Pass,
surprising to me.
and
Yeah, they got Game Pass.
they're making a lot more revenue from Game Pass than they are with paying their online services. And I think you have to have Game Pass or whatever to be online, and that's it's bundled in together or some stupid crap. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I think services like Game Pass are good. Whereas I think the whole, what is it, PlayStation Plus or whatever you need to play games on PlayStation like
For the price that you pay, it's far behind.
that's what I'm
you
saying.
have
It's
to
very
pay
antiquated.
you have to pay in tiers to be able to play other or more games.
Really?
Yep.
Because I've paid for PlayStation Plus. How it starts is if you have like just the normal, right, which
Mhm.
is just standard. You get your free monthly games, and then you get the ability to play online. But as you
Oh.
upgrade your package, you can play like streaming from like old games from PS3, or you
Huh.
get access to a bigger library from the PS4. And
Okay,
when I look at
interesting.
Game Pass and I see all the games on Game Pass, I'm like, you're paying what, $17.99, $14.99 for Game Pass, and you
And
get
you
all
get
these
everything,
games.
yeah.
Like, why would I go pay for like the extra when it comes to Sony?
Yeah, that actually I didn't know that. That's a very antiquated, like it doesn't even compete with Game Pass pretty much.
Game Pass is $10 a month.
$10 and you get access to thousands of
yeah.
games.
Not to mention you can choose if you want to play it on console or on PC, and the library for both is massive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's actually pretty impressive on Microsoft's behalf. To kind of add on to what Twiz said, I don't know if it's so much that Sony's scared of Microsoft because Microsoft said they're not doing exclusives. They're done with that. But I feel like hopefully this is the start of where people look at Microsoft. Well, I mean, it's only Microsoft and Sony that does this, and Nintendo. But the biggest one out of all of those was Microsoft, and Nintendo I think is pretty up there too.
Which the biggest one out of all this was Microsoft to do what?
Like in terms of how big they are, in terms of their budget, their value assessment. Like Microsoft's
their value,
huge.
their value assessment absolutely.
It completely
Microsoft.
decimates Sony. So I'm hoping that if the big dog here has said we're not going to do exclusives, I'm hoping the other two will follow. At the very least, I hope Sony follows because
I doubt Nintendo will.
I think so too. I doubt Nintendo will because it is massively popular around other parts of the world. Even in the US, it's pretty popular. So yeah, I think you're right. I don't think that Nintendo will follow, but I hope Sony does because in the end, this will finally mean that PC players and Xbox players can play like really cool titles like Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, that's a one that we've been wanting forever. Bloodborne, tons of other ones. God of War will actually be caught up, stuff like that.
Well, here's my thing. Hopefully, with the whole Helldivers coming to PC on day one, I'm hoping maybe it's like Sony coming in now that they see that Xbox isn't doing that anymore, or exclusives and dropping it,
Yeah.
and they're gonna say, hey, we're gonna bring all of our stuff to PC to give competition to Microsoft on when it comes to PC and stuff like that.
They would make so much money right off the bat if they just
You know
brought.
how many people are still wanting to buy Bloodborne?
Exactly.
Right.
Like
That's
that
one of the
game's
best
old.
games in the Soul series. That game is what? That game came out. Hold on, I gotta check that release. I think it was 2014, 2015. Hold on. Bloodborne release date. That game came out back in March of 2015. It's been almost 10 years since Bloodborne has come out. Still one of the best games in the Soul series.
Yeah.
You know how many people would be willing to buy it right now if it released on Steam like tomorrow?
Exactly. Such
That
easy
would
money.
I don't want
Well,
to
they-
say like it's outsell Elden Ring, but I feel like it'd be up there, dude.
But yeah, they that's what I was about to say. They need to look at this massive success that Elden Ring had. You know, that released on all consoles and PC.
All platforms, yeah. Except
Yeah,
Switch, I think.
Yeah, Switch didn't get it, but it is what it is. But yeah, massive success there. And that game was amazing.
Oh
loved
yeah,
it.
I mean that was a
love
masterpiece.
Worth the money.
Masterpiece
Worth
of a
the
game.
money.
Yeah, yeah.
Not to mention, guys, if you haven't played Bloodborne, hate to be a little, shameless plug. It is free on PlayStation Plus right now, or it should be if you have PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Essentials, or you can get a copy for like dirt cheap. Worth the money. At most, you'll spend $10. So much content, great combat, great gameplay. Best Souls game.
And speaking of CEOs, because that's a good point too. The CEO of Arrowhead, the team that made Helldivers 2. This is kind of cute. He actually felt bad because a lot of people weren't able to get into the game and stuff like that. And as a goodwill gesture, he had a double XP weekend, which actually, in hindsight, bit him in the butt because
it had more people coming on.
More people wanted to play it. So it's like, and he even tweeted it. He's like, "Oops, didn't see this coming." But the funny thing is, as well, is I think that person's one of the few CEOs that's actually pro gamer, like actually pro consumer, because a lot, with every release, every game release, you're gonna have the spike, and then it's gonna start going down. And oh, sorry, actually, I'm talking about the Palworld CEO. My bad. Let's shift gears here for a second. And Palworld, obviously it spiked. I think, what is it, 2 million players or something crazy.
Yeah, something like that.
And it broke records and stuff. But this I mean, obviously the game's come down a little bit now because people have gone through the content. A lot of them have chugged through most of that content and maxed out and stuff, and they're waiting for a new patch. But yeah, the CEO tweeted like, it's okay to play other games, guys. We encourage you to play other games, and while you're waiting for us to develop more content, you can play other games and feel free to come back once there's more content. And I feel like a lot more gaming companies should adopt that ideology, because you have people like Activision Blizzard, for example, with Call of Duty and World of Warcraft and Overwatch, where a lot of their ideologies is, let's get this guy playing this game nonstop. We gotta hook him up. He cannot stop playing the game. With FOMO events, all the world first races and all this crap with World of Warcraft, and then Overwatch coming out with limited events and holiday events with skins and stuff, and the battle passes with all of. I don't know if World of Warcraft doesn't have a battle pass, does it?
No.
I hope not.
I hope not too.
And when it did, I'd hope not.
Right.
But don't get me wrong. On certain games, I enjoy a battle pass. I enjoy events and stuff like that because, like, yes, I get that Call of Duty does play a little on the FOMO side and stuff like that, but at the same time, most of the events you can complete, like the weeklies, you can complete those in a day. The battle pass, if you play, 2 or 3 times a week, you're gonna finish that battle pass inside of 4 weeks. It's not like you have to stay on it every single day. Now, if you're trying to do every single camo for every single gun and stuff like that, which is fine, you can do that, then yeah, you're gonna be on there a lot more than a lot of people. But as certain games, sure. Fortnite Battle Pass, that's fine. Call of Duty Battle Pass, okay. Just
I think the
stop
bigger
raising your
issue with
prices
Call
for
of
it.
Duty is they have guns that are in the battle pass that you can only obtain during that battle pass. The only way to obtain them afterwards, or sorry, if you don't have the battle pass, you could either do the zombie thing,
It's either zombies or challenges, like you're doing
or
a combo,
challenges,
pretty
right?
much. I mean,
No,
it's not.
no. if you have every gun that is released, if you don't buy the battle pass, you can still get it through the battle pass.
What I'm saying is you have to do the battle pass to get the gun. That's exactly what I said.
I
So
mean, you can, and you also don't have to. If you have a friend that can drop it for you,
I know,
in
yeah.
zombies, you're out in 5 minutes.
exactly. So as I said, you could get it by the battle pass or zombies, or you have to do the challenges after the season's over, right?
Yeah. You might even be able to do the challenges during the season.
No, you can't, because I tried to
Oh.
do it with the new gun. Yeah.
Okay.
So that practice is very predatory, and I don't think. Yeah, actually, no. Fortnite definitely doesn't do that. Overwatch doesn't do that. I don't think any other. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure no other shooter does that. So what I'm saying is this whole ideology and mode of monetization. I'm not a big fan of it. Because I feel like it's starting to test the waters, which every big company like these does, to push it more and more to where you have to buy the battle pass to get a gun. You cannot get it for free anymore. And I'm fairly certain, mark my words,
But
I'm
like
pretty
I
sure this
said,
is
you
going to
don't.
happen.
But like I said, you don't have to buy the battle pass. You do not have to buy the battle pass to get the gun out of the battle pass. That's
Yeah.
why it says free.
Right, but in the future, do you think Activision won't just have it to where you have to buy the battle pass for a gun?
So if that was the case, Activision has been doing battle passes now for the past like what 5, 6, 7 years. If
I mean,
that
they
was
could just stop doing this and go back to their old season pass. You know, how
yeah,
they
and
would
you
lock
had to
guns
pay for
behind
the
$40.
season pass,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the only way to get the gun. You couldn't drop it for a friend. You literally had to pay $40 per season. You got three maps and 2 guns. That was it.
If you think
And
this
you
is
paid
predatory,
$40.
go play Black Ops 3 back in 2015, 2016, and go open supply drops, and then tell me that this is predatory.
Right.
I remember those, yeah.
Anybody
So-
remember when you had to get your guns out of a
Okay.
supply drop?
You're looking at a $7 battle pass, or not even having to buy the battle pass, and you still get all of the maps, still get all of the guns, or you pay $7, you get all of the maps, all of the guns, all of the blueprints, all of the operator skins, all of that. I don't think that it is as predatory as it used to be. They've kind of started steering down a more non-predatory road, in my opinion.
So if I want a skin from any past season, how do I get it?
From any past season,
Any one of them.
on that,
Since the start of
but
the game till now, how do I get it? I just lost out on it. So
Yeah,
that's FOMO.
But you
I don't
can-
like
I mean,
that.
Well, then yeah, just say you don't like FOMO. Because
Yeah, I personally just don't like that.
But how do
whole-
how do you get a skin from any past season from Fortnite?
You can't.
Exactly.
I don't like that either. Just
I mean,
because
no, that's
another
fair,
game does it, I
but-
don't like it.
I think what we need to just say is that monetization wise, we don't like it.
Yeah.
The FOMO, we don't like it, but it's definitely come a long way from what it has been.
I mean, that is understandable, but at the same time, you also have to think, okay, yes, I get mad that they've raised the price to the base game. All right. That's whatever. It's $70 for that, and then you're buying battle passes and stuff like that. But it literally still beats going back to Black Ops 2, whenever they were dropping 3 maps, 1 gun. I think it was the Peacemaker or Peacekeeper.
Yeah, the Peacekeeper.
something
Yeah,
like
the
that.
Peacekeeper.
1 gun for the rest of every single one of those DLCs. There were 4 DLCs, each one totaling, I believe it was $20 a DLC. So that's $80 right there, plus 50 for the base game. You got 3 maps per DLC, and there was only 1 gun that dropped, and that was on the second or third DLC.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, it still beats it, because with a battle pass, you get your coins, you get your Call of Duty points back out of it. So you're not spending any more money as long as you don't go and buy another skin.
Yeah. It's like
So-
free, right?
Right. So like you paid $7 for the first battle pass. And as a matter of fact, I think you get COD points whenever you first purchase the game as well. I think you get enough for the first battle pass.
No, you do
I
not.
think that's with either the Vault Edition. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
you
sure
have
Vault
to.
okay.
Edition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to get the vault.
Okay, so you get the base game. You pay $7, $10, whatever, for the battle pass one time, and as long as you don't run to the store and buy up other skins, you've got enough COD points for the battle pass throughout the rest of that game. Or in Modern Warfare 3's case, because I still had COD points from MW2, which carried over, I've had enough COD points for the past two video games every single season.
Right. And then in addition to that, I think just comparing it to like Helldivers' store, which a lot of people, I personally, I was like on the fence of, because a lot of their armors, well, actually all the armors as far as I know, have like a passive trait to them. So for example, like one gives you 2 more stims, and then another one gives you like 2 more grenades, stuff like that. It's not like, I wouldn't say game changing per se, but it's something.
It's a little help.
Yeah, it's a little help. And I think I thought it was gonna be predatory. I thought it was gonna be pay to win because you can buy these with premium currency, right?
Right.
But actually, the way they've done it, I think they've actually perfected meeting the middle of FOMO, pay to win trash, and like, okay, a live service game can make money in the future. I think they've gotten a really good, like, decent middle ground. You can actually earn premium currency pretty easily, like kind of like Warframe a little bit, like Platinum. You can earn it pretty easily. It's a little grindy, sure, but you can earn. I think like 650 of the premium currency. I never bought anything. I never bought any of the premium currency. So in the game itself, in the match, you can just stumble upon one of the little pods you can open. It can have super credits, which is the premium currency. You can do the free battle pass in Helldivers, and it has a ton of premium currency that you can pick up too. So I feel like the incentive is there, and not to mention, you get enough of the premium currency that you can buy whatever you want, and not like be like, I gotta ration out, I want to buy that, and then I gotta not buy. No, you can literally buy like whatever you want and have enough money. There's people that I've seen on stream that have like over 1,500 super credits because they just grinded the heck out of the game. So I think a model like that is really the sweet spot, because the game is a live service game. They said that it was going to be a live service, so that means that they're going to be pumping out content in the future for free, and adding different missions, different guns, all this and that.
And to have a live service, you have to be able to pay to keep your lights on. You have to be able to pay your devs,
exactly,
and
right,
everything else,
because people are not buying the game over and over again. You're right.
And that right there is why I don't have such a huge issue with battle passes and stuff like that. Is where I take issue is whenever they start jacking the price up. Now, Call of Duty has done this that I don't agree with. I have seen skins in the Call of Duty shop at whenever the MW2 first dropped. They started out for the skins, the most expensive was 1,800. Then it went to 2,000, then 2,200, then 2,400. Now we've seen almost 3K skins.
Oh wow, there's 3K. Okay, damn, I didn't even know.
So that's almost the price of Helldivers.
Oh yeah, actually, right.
For a skin.
Wow, jeez.
And the only way they get there is like they try to add things that no one else is gonna, like tracer bullets and shit like that. Just like very minor things that you're not gonna really use, or even if you do, it's gonna be like for like 1 or 2 matches. You're like, man, I'm gonna get killed because this guy sees where I'm shooting from.
It's 1 or 2 items that like, oh, I like those items, and then the rest is just trash to pump it up.
But at the same I will say this, at the same time though, most of the skins that I really like, and I actually see people are wearing and stuff, are the cheaper skins. And that's not because they're just cheaper. It's because those skins, those operator skins, they look cooler, they're better. I've also seen that they have tied in a certain operator skin with more XP for an event. Which is, in my opinion, complete and utter bullshit. Like, you should not do that. You should not have people.
But when did they do that?
Like they've been doing it.
Oh,
they've been doing it for the past like MW2, midways through MW2.
Oh wow, really? Dang.
Is whenever they started doing the whole this event, if you get this skin and wear this skin, you'll get this much extra XP per game.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that. Sorry. Excuse me. That's
But
yeah.
since we're
That's it.
talking, since we're talking about Call of Duty so much, Hex and Scump are looking at suing them, CDL that is, for I believe it's 980 million or 680 million.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Jeez.
because and the argument is that Activision utilized their copyright to Call of Duty and established and abused monopoly power in the relevant market of professional Call of Duty competitions, which basically means Call of Duty said you cannot restream this to your Twitch. It has to be on YouTube because CDL had made they had made an agreement, a contract, whatever, with YouTube, and they shut down a lot of streamers, including Hex and Scump, and
Oh. Okay.
it pissed a lot of people off. So they are they're trying to sue them. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you should have the freedom to have your own private, tournament if you want to. There's tons of private tournaments.
No. It's not the tournament. It's not a private tournament or anything.
It's the fact that they're breaking agreement.
Restreaming.
Oh, restream like while it's happening.
So they went. So they went to the Call of Duty event.
Yeah.
Right. The CDL.
Yep.
All right. They're playing. They wanted to stream their screen.
Okay. I can see.
Onto Twitch,
Mhm.
and CDL's all like, "No, you can't do that. We're in an agreement with YouTube. It has to be on YouTube."
Okay. Well, I feel like that's a kind of a bigger topic, and I feel like this whole law case, in that case, this whole lawsuit's going to go to nothing pretty quickly. There's a contract, and there's a contract between, I'm assuming, Activision and YouTube, right? So, you as was he like what, a tournament? Is he a competitor or like what?
He's the CEO. You can call him a CEO of one of the
Teams.
Teams.
Okay,
Hex
so
and Scump both
he has
are,
no room.
and they are competitors as well. They play as well.
Okay, so he has no room at all in this whole entire thing.
I think they own Optic or something.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's like one of the teams in the NFL.
It's one of the largest teams.
That's fine. I mean, it could be the largest team, but this is legality here. And in terms of legality, this contract was predetermined before they entered, right? So I'm sure Optics signed this contract before they entered in this tournament.
I don't know that they signed it. I don't think that they signed anything. I think it was like not necessarily a backroom deal that Call of Duty, well, CDL and YouTube had. But basically is what they did is Hex and Scump were streaming to Twitch. They shut down the streams and told them, "Hey, you can't do that. We have a contract with YouTube."
I mean, excuse me. At the end of the day, this is something Call of Duty can do. A Blizzard Activision has done this before, where they've completely nuked someone's channel on YouTube or Twitch that they found cheating.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm totally in agreement here.
Do I think that this is a good thing? I'm indifferent because on one hand, it's almost like this is ESPN. I don't know. ESPN has contracts to stream certain things, right? They pay for that. So you think like Call of Duty going to Twitch or CDL, whatever it's called, having this backroom deal, whatever you want to call it, if it's in paper, then I think that they shouldn't stream it if that's the deal.
Well, and the whole deal was supposed to be some kind of, I don't know, like discount or something that YouTube was going to give them or something like that. But like I said, I'm in completely, I agree with you on this. I think, okay, it's CDL's thing. They're the ones holding the tournament. They're the ones that's doing the payouts for the winners. You're basically in their house playing on their machines.
Exactly.
You abide by their rules.
Exactly.
So you're gonna abide by their rules or fuck off. They're not telling you that, hey, you can't stream at home to Twitch. They're not telling you that. They're telling you for the time being, for this
competition,
for this tournament, for this competition, You can't restream to Twitch. They didn't even tell them, hey, you can't record your gameplay and then
That's
put
just
it
the
out.
streaming, right?
You just can't stream it from here to Twitch while simultaneously this is being streamed to YouTube.
I don't have
But
a
they could have
problem.
restreamed it to YouTube, right? Here, I kind of want to give my little bit of a take. They could have restreamed it to YouTube, right? Is that what it
Yes.
is?
Oh,
So why
so
is
it's
Optic
just
making-
Twitch. Okay.
But
So then,
that's the thing is Twitch has that bullshit that if you're partnered with Twitch, you can't stream
Oh.
anywhere else.
Okay, yeah.
and was it the whole Optic team wanting to restream, or was it just like the organization in general?
I believe it was everybody from Optic that was there, Hex and Scump and maybe whoever. I'm not entirely sure. I just know that the two players, Hex and Scump, are the ones that want to sue CDL on behalf of Optic.
Well, why couldn't they just restream it to the general Optic gaming channel? That way you can argue, hey, nobody in particular, is restreaming this.
Well, they
It's
weren't
their-
allowed
They
to do
can
that.
restream it. It just has to be to
I was
YouTube
saying,
and not Twitch.
on YouTube. They have their own YouTube channel. They could have done that. Sorry if I said Twitch, but they could have easily just done that.
Because it's, I guess,
They're Twitch
here's what I'm
partners,
guessing.
I think.
Because they are Twitch partners.
So you
right?
have to only stream on Twitch.
And those two were playing, so it would be their gameplay. So Twitch would be able to be all like, no, that's your gameplay. You're partnered here. You can't stream there. You're losing your partnership. Honestly, in my opinion, they shouldn't be suing CDL. They should
I mean,
be
I
suing
completely agree.
Twitch.
The way I see it is either sue Twitch or this shouldn't even be a lawsuit to begin with CDL or anybody in general.
This is a
Like,
Twitch
right.
L. I mean, this is just a Twitch L all around.
Because I mean, like, let's face it here. CDL is not at fault. Like, I get it. They signed a contract with YouTube, or they have paper and agreement. But if you're gonna make a big deal out of you not being able to restream your game when you're already gonna either make millions from playing in this tournament or even just winning, like that's already your job right there. You're doing your job. You're
Well,
not
not
missing
only
out on too
that-
much just from not being able to get that restream.
Right. And not only that, I feel like you're kind of trying to bite the hand that feeds you.
Exactly. Like,
I think
these guys hate your
CDL
game that you're
should
playing, bro.
blacklist them, to be quite honest with you. I think they should tell them, that's it, you're done.
That's probably what's
At the-
gonna happen.
At the end of the day,
conduct.
Hex and Stomp, you've made your careers on Call of Duty. Period. The CDL tournaments, the Call of Duty Next tournaments, all of this, that's your bread and butter, and you're going to sue your bread and butter. You may think that Twitch is your bread and butter because that's where all your subscribers and yada yada yada's at, but no.
What's gonna happen when you can't go back to work tomorrow in the pro scene?
Right. If you can't get into these tournaments, these CDL tournaments and Call of Duty Next tournaments, then you can't. You're
You
not
can't
making
entertain
money.
your viewers too. Like, these people come to see you play professionally and play like you're a god, and you sue your bread and butter. They're gonna blacklist you from the tournaments, and worst case scenario, they might even not even let you play
Now,
their game.
On the whole blacklisting thing, I don't. I'm going to argue that they're probably not going to get blacklisted because that would look really bad for CDL to do. But I will say this, it's going to put a target on your back. And the minute they find the smallest thing that violates anything, then yeah, you're gone. You're out.
I mean, I know we still see like people like FaZe them play today, but back then when they tried to sue, or Tfue tried to sue FaZe and all those other
Oh
things,
yeah, that
we
took
saw
a huge
lot
hit.
of things come to light. I know you can't really compare it, but
Well, yeah,
like
I mean,
Twiz says.
that busted the floodgates open to show that 90% of the FaZe players were cheaters.
Not just that.
I don't think it was that. I think it was
not
the
just
contract
but
thing.
like the contract agreements too were also just very
Predatory.
pardon my language, predatory and shitty for people that were getting ready to come in.
A lot of FaZe right after that got proven to be cheaters, and not only
Praise
Call of
Jarvis.
Duty, but also Valorant,
Yeah.
And
also
Fortnite.
Fortnite. Like on every end that FaZe was in, there were players on their team that were proven cheaters.
I looked up Scump's streaming stats and stuff, and he's actually not a small streamer. So this would be a pretty big
he's not.
hit if he gets banned off of Twitch or something. which I don't think that would happen or
I
anything.
don't think that he would be banned off of Twitch.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I will say, in terms of his games that he streams, he does average more viewers on Apex Legends and even more on Halo Infinite. So if he gets banned on Call of Duty somehow, if they like get offended per se and just suspend him or something, right? I don't know if it hit him that hard because he does have other games he plays that are even averaging more viewers. But if he wants to stay in the Call of Duty League scene, this is not how to do it, man. You don't go suing the hand that feeds you.
See, my next question is he going to Apex Legends tournaments and winning, 10, 20, 50,000?
I don't follow him. I'm not sure. I have no idea.
If he's not doing that, because so far from what I know, Call of Duty CDL is the only place that Scump and Hex really go to. I could be wrong though.
Well, just based off of his subscribers on Twitch, he's making over like 50,000 a month. So I don't think $10,000-$20,000 tournaments is gonna be a huge issue for him. But again, you're biting the hand that feeds you, as you said. Why would you do this? This is literally your bread. Like this, if you're passionate about this, you're kind of putting a target on your back by the people that can just say, "Hey, you're out. That's it, done."
I think the TLDR is Optic, and is it just Optic suing, or who else is suing?
It's Hex and Scump. I think
they just
Scump
need to
is
come.
the CEO of Optic and Hex is the CEO of something else. Hold on.
Regardless, I think that they just need to come at it like level, like clear-headed and level as like adults. And if this is like talk it out with Twitch and see, hey, if this is such a big deal, can I restream to YouTube for this one event?
Yeah, it's all Optic.
Oh, it's all Optic. Okay.
Both of them are Optic.
It just seems like just a big either misunderstanding or them taking it way too much to heart.
I think it's an ego move. It's full ego move. A lot of Call of Duty players got this ego, and then it's like, all right, you did something wrong, I'm suing you.
I say let's keep an eye out because we may see something juicy come out.
Maybe. Who knows? They may even win. It could be even deeper than just the streaming thing.
It could be. We could have like a whole 180, and maybe it's something
because I did hear something about how CDL made them join their two gaming plans together because one wasn't big enough to be in it or something like that. I'm not sure. All I know is like, they're the biggest issue. I guess the straw that broke the camel's back was the streaming issue. And I found it very, very interesting that you want $680 million.
That's outrageous. That is straight up outrageous.
I don't even think that's amount of sales.
This is what you're claiming that you've lost is $680 million in damages.
I
don't even think they sold enough copies of MW3 to have a close to $1 billion.
I don't think they sold enough copies. I don't think any tournament winners win that much to begin with. I think they just want to win to get out of playing the tournament. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think this is a troll move, man. There's no way they think they're gonna win this.
This is what we call a controller player move.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's crazy. Dang.
It just sounds like a mess. Hopefully something good comes out of it. Could be a deeper rabbit hole than we know.
That's fair. That's very fair. So, what about the Nintendo Switch 2? Have you guys heard anything about that?
Dude, honestly, I haven't. I know, I kind of did. When is it coming out? I didn't read anything about it.
So people are estimating 2025. So we're almost at end of life for Nintendo Switch.
To be honest, I don't think I'll be buying the Switch 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I got the Steam Deck
I bought the Switch, and to be honest, it was a novelty. I played it a few times. Yeah, I had fun with it those few times. The rest of the time, it's either sat on a shelf or in a drawer or something like that. There wasn't enough games. B, while playing the games that I actually did play, I felt like I was going to break the damn thing. Let's be honest. I guess it's good for a kid, but at the same time, how good is something that, like me trying to be delicate with something, I feel like I'm going to break it and you're going to hand it off to your, 8, 9, 10-year-old to play with. I'm not sure. The Steam Deck, hands down, if you're gonna buy a handheld console, I would go with something else. I would go with the Steam Deck or
I'd like
the
to
Asus
preface
one.
the ROG Zephyr, or the
Yeah.
Asus ROG thingy. I also like to add real quick. I think from a PC gamer perspective, the Nintendo Switch is not a good proposition. But I think from someone that's, you know, your normal 9 to 5 job, you come home, you got like maybe an hour to relax and just you play something small. If you like Nintendo games, I think the Switch is still a good idea
If
because
you
you
like
don't
that
have to
bubble,
mess with emulation.
yeah, if you like that bubble gum, you know, not too gory type stuff, then get a Nintendo Switch because there's not many gory games that go on Nintendo.
And the hardware is very antiquated. It's got a very old
Pretty
processor.
much.
The screen's not a great resolution. I think it's 720p. It's just
Now, who
it
knows?
needs a refresh.
Who knows? Nintendo Switch with the Switch 2 might come out and you know. Go ahead, Japan.
I'll say if they do with the Switch 2, like if I can play Tears of the Kingdom at 60 FPS on the Switch 2, or at 1080p, even 30, just any of the older games like run flawlessly, then maybe I'll buy it. But like it depends on the price tag and what it brings to the table. Because I can go buy a Steam Deck and with 30 minutes of my time, I can go set up Yuzu or Simu, which I'm not saying you guys should emulate games, you know, you totally shouldn't. But
Well,
for
you
the
should
best bang for
if you purchase them.
no, yeah, if you own the games and you can port them yourself, do it. That's perfectly legal.
Yeah.
But best bang for value, if you want to take a little bit of time out of your day to do that, the Steam Deck or even the ROG, like you guys said, the Zephyr, was it called?
I think it's the RG Zephyr. I might be wrong. I don't know. Whatever. It's
You can play
RG.
Steam games, you can play Switch games, all that, and it run well.
There are plenty of handheld portable consoles out on the market now that are way better than the Nintendo Switch and has way more games, way more versatility. And
I think the
knowing
Steam Deck
Nintendo-
started this. I think the Steam Deck, excuse me, started this push for like this market segment that we didn't even know we wanted, right? Because this came out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, I think, and it's massively popular now. And Asus came in with theirs. There's a lot of not clones, but very similar to the Steam Deck.
There's a lot of companies that are doing a similar thing as Steam Deck, but knowing Nintendo Switch, along with to adjust for inflation, this is going to have a $450 to $500 price point, guaranteed. Because I will guarantee they've already put an OLED screen in the refresh.
The Steam Deck refresh, or sorry, the Switch.
The Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come out with the OLED screen. All right, it's gonna come out with a better processor, more RAM, you know, a little bit better of a graphics card, whatever that's in it. Probably a little bit more hard drive space. All right, so thinking about all of that, it's gonna drop at about $450 to $500 for that price. I would go with Steam Deck or the Asus ROG or something else. Just do some
I gotta be
research.
completely honest. I completely agree with you. I would definitely go with the deck, and not only because I mean the value proposition's crazy. You have like a mobile computer pretty much in your hand, so you can go to YouTube, Netflix, all the. You don't have to download an app for everything, right?
You can even do Discord.
You can have Discord running while playing a game. So that's already like you can't do that on the Switch, right? Not only that, but like it's just you can emulate a lot of these games. You have hundreds of thousands of games that are old that you could emulate. So why? You know, the only reason I can think of. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, my bad. Talking from like a purely console standpoint, like I want to leave like the rest of the handhelds, even though it's a fair argument. I think even just from like a console standpoint, I think like the average gamer is still gonna choose something like a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. As if this comes out in 2025, we're gonna see the PS5 Pro, Xbox Series X Pro, even though the X is still really good. Same with the PS5. We've already seen these consoles drop down to $200, $300. If this releases at $450 to $500,
it's a hard bargain.
You're better off getting a console that has better specs to begin with and can go play games at a higher resolution and frame rate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's going to be into that niche market that wants a handheld.
I wouldn't call it a niche market because it's a massive market. So Nintendo
Okay.
was the best-selling console of 2023. The Switch,
That's
sorry, Nintendo
because
Switch.
that's because they were the only console that was handheld.
Well, no, in 2023 the Steam Deck was still a thing. The Steam Deck's been a thing for a few years now. But in Japan and some more of the Asian countries, the Nintendo Switch is massive, massively popular, hugely popular. So I don't think there's not a market for it per se. I just think the value proposition, it's not there for me at least. For me, I mean, Twiz, I think you agree, right?
I completely
It just
agree.
entirely depends on the value of the gamer.
I most likely will not buy a Nintendo Switch 2.
Hmm.
I wasted money, in my opinion. I wasted money on the Switch 1. No, I'm not doing it again. I have too many games on the PC, and it's a way better proposition to purchase a Steam Deck and play my entire library
Most of it.
from Steam. Yeah, most of it from Steam on the Steam Deck or the Asus Zephyr or whatever the hell they're calling it. Then I can play my entire library on it because it's my Windows OS.
You can install Windows on the Steam Deck as well.
Yeah, you can, but this one comes with it already installed. So
There's just no reason to buy the Switch if you want to have a wide library. I think that's the best way to
Exactly.
put it because
Exactly.
there's so much more accessibility on something like Steam Deck. If you're willing to spend a little bit of extra time, that's all you need to have access to thousands of games.
exactly.
Hundreds of
And if-
thousands, even like
Right. And if you're willing to spend an extra 30 minutes or so, like we said earlier, emulation and all that, you're not missing out on much if you don't buy the Switch.
and I
Because
just yeah.
these games come out one way or the other, whether it be through obviously not legal reasons or illegal ways for you to access them without the Switch.
Exactly.
And actually, that just reminded me of something. The PlayStation Portal, is it the handheld PlayStation streaming thing? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was
People can
such
do
a
that
flop.
too.
Such a flop because there's something called like Chaika or Saika or something on the Steam Deck. Someone developed it where you can stream your game from your PlayStation 5 to your Stream Deck. It actually outperformed the PlayStation Portal like night and day.
I'm sorry, but even though that shit exists, I already knew it was gonna flop from when y'all remember the PS Vita trying to say you could play PS4 games on the PS Vita.
Yep.
That shit was such a flop. Like that was just no, it's not gonna happen.
It was horrible. But speaking of consoles and stuff like that, the PS6 has been announced that it's in development.
Has
Now,
it?
Jaboon brought this up earlier, so I'm gonna let him take it away.
Yeah, so I mean, guys, it's crazy to think that the PS5 released 4 years ago now? Like almost 4
something like
years
that.
ago.
Yeah.
And now we're already at like what Sony is saying, like I guess the peak or like close to like the end of its life cycle. Like they're already moving on to new things. It's crazy to think that almost 4 years has went by, and it feels like for a majority of this life cycle with this console, you could not get your hands on it.
Yeah.
I mean, due to the shortages and all that, but
Right.
didn't
And the
have, like, a
scalpers.
chance to
The scalpers are
console.
huge in this.
Exactly.
One.
Now I also feel like that announcement was Microsoft kind of forcing PlayStation's hand because Microsoft announced before PlayStation did that their new console is already in development and that it's going to be the largest
Oh, the biggest leap in performance.
technological leap in performance. And then just a few, I think within 48 hours, PlayStation announces that its PS6 is in development.
Well, I mean that's interesting for a lot of people looking at the holidays that just occurred or coming holidays. Because I'm kind of with Jaboon in the sense that I don't really see many people with PS5s that often. It's still kind of a rarity.
Which also goes back to my point earlier in the podcast where I said fictitious inflation. All right. So, and I believe PlayStation is just as guilty of that as anybody else because if you if you look at it. And granted, I know we had a chip shortage and this and that and the other, but we didn't have a chip shortage for that long. All right. Xbox did not have this issue.
Mm-mm.
Xboxes were readily available. You could get them anytime you wanted. Same with the Switch. Readily available. You could get them when you
the
wanted.
Switch had a moment
you're
where
gonna-
it was rare.
A very minute moment. All right.
Yeah, but
you're
his
gonna
point
tell
is,
me that PlayStation 5, you couldn't get it for pretty much 4 years. We are just now, for the past like 8 or 9 months, seeing them actually on shelves.
I remember
that-
chopping. Yeah, it used to be like a rarity to see the box.
That was to keep that price at its launch price for that long.
That's a really good point. I mean, yeah, that definitely I feel like occurred, and not to mention, like, you know, you still have people that, you know, don't have like the amount of people that have a PS4 compared to the amount of people that got a PS5 has to be staggering difference here. Because
not to mention the amount of people still playing on their PS4 to this day.
Exactly, and that hurts the developers, because if you have to develop for last gen, in addition to current gen, it makes updates sluggish as hell. I mean, slow updates. The game's gonna run like garbage because they have to optimize the heck out of it.
Oh, I've got a buddy that plays MW3 with me
Mhm,
on his PlayStation 4.
mhm.
And there are times where we will load into a match and we're 75% through the game before the entire map has loaded.
Yeah,
I mean that's just the console life, bro.
you'll have that.
I mean, yeah,
You
you'll
surely
have
will.
that. We haven't said that in a fat minute, but it's just I don't know. Like it's still crazy to me that like I feel like this generation has just passed so quick. Whether it be now that I've upgraded my computer, or that I just thought, man, I'm not gonna get my hands on this. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Mhm.
I didn't get a PS4 until the end of 2022, and aside from a few exclusives that I guarantee will come to PC within a few years now, as we talked about with Helldivers and all that, um, I just didn't really care that much about it. I really didn't.
That's the only value proposition for me getting the PS5 or Twiz technically. Just the exclusives. There was nothing about it other than the exclusives that I really was wanting it for.
I solely wanted it and got it for Ghost of Tsushima, God of War Ragnarok, the Spider-Mans, which Spider-Man Miles Morales or whatever was disappointing.
Not to mention Spider-Man 2.
Well, I hear Spider-Man 2 is really good. I haven't purchased it yet, but
It was okay.
was it better than Miles Morales?
I mean, it feels like you're just playing Amazing Spider-Man 1 again or like, the PS4 one with like a watered down story almost.
Okay, well then I won't buy it. But
buy it on sale if you
The
want.
Last of Us.
Oh, The Last of Us was a masterpiece. That was a good game. 2, not so much, but first one, oh, so good.
Well, see, I have it
more like the remaster of
from
us.
back whenever I had the PS4. Because I had the PS4 for a little while and then I sold it.
Oh,
and
okay.
it was still attached to my account, so I still have The Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
And I enjoy going back and playing older games. So that's why I have the PlayStation 5. I don't see myself purchasing the PlayStation 6 either. I would prefer to put these extra ducats into my PC or Austin's PC.
Or just life things, even like an
Yeah,
extra $500 plus $70 for the games, like to play on it is just.
Did they announce the pricing yet?
No, it's just purely in development.
But no, a lot of the PlayStation games, and I noticed this whenever I first got the PS5, were drastically more expensive than PC games. There were a few that were $80-$90. Period.
Oh, wow.
Base game.
Jeez.
I don't know. All I can say is, PS5. I remember 2020 when he came out. Yeah, it had a lot of banger launches, but we're not 2020 anymore. These games are coming out on PC, or better games are coming out. So I'll give you a salute. If you would have been more readily available, maybe you would have had a better life cycle, lifespan. But
Well, here's a question. So, as these consoles are adjusting for inflation, right? What's going to happen when they start approaching PC prices? because the whole value proposition here is I don't have enough money for a PC, so you know, I don't have enough money for a PC, so I'm gonna get a console, right? $500 on a console, I can play with my friends. I can enjoy, for PS5, you can 120 hertz, HDR, all this goodness. But as we increase the prices for inflation, what's gonna happen when a PS6, for example, is 800? A PS6 Pro is 1,000.
Right.
Maybe I'm gonna go to PC now. Finally, maybe PC is finally gonna start becoming a in the lime in the not in the limelight, but
I've said it over and
spotlight.
over and over again. I've said it over and over and over again. There's no reason these days that people should get consoles past the exclusives.
Yeah.
Because the price comparison, you can price out a PC and it may be 100 or 200 more, but that PC is going to last you a lot longer than that console will.
And
not to mention you upgrade it
whenever new parts come out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
As long as you pick a more up-to-date motherboard or CPU, things like that aren't too expensive. We're seeing a lot of great budget parts coming out lately. Good examples being the 4070 Ti Super.
The Super series is a great value. Yeah.
Like my motherboard, I bought it whenever the 13900K came out. I can upgrade my CPU to the 14900K without having to get another motherboard. I don't have to get more RAM. My graphics card is still good. So right there, for that CPU, I'm paying less than the price of a console. And it doesn't even need the upgrade. I'll probably be able to upgrade to the 15900K whenever it drops, because Intel normally sticks with the same chipset for a couple of generations at least.
Yeah, socket. So, yeah, the same socket.
Yeah, the same socket. So on that end, like, are you really saving money having to buy a new console every 4 or 5 years? No, you're not. Especially not whenever you have all these problems like the PlayStation 5 being released and it has a stand that they literally it can sit up this way, but now they've had problems with the thermal paste because it's like a liquid or whatever drooping out.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, and overheating your CPU in it.
Oh my gosh.
And essentially causing a red ring of death, like what
Xbox had.
360
like 360
experienced.
I would like to add though, the stand you can also lay it flat. It's not only upright.
You can lay it flat, but if you look
we're
at the
talking
box
vertically.
If you look at the box and you look at the way
I know they have
every single commercial, most customers do not know that you can lay it flat.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Most customers will not know that you're supposed to lay it flat to stop that happening until it's too late. Once it happens and then they get on YouTube,
that's
then
too late.
Figure out, okay, yeah, it's too late. I've got a bricked console that has to go in for repairs.
Yep.
Probably out of warranty by then. So, yeah.
I just wish more people would see that getting a PC, building it is not that difficult. You guys are saving so much headache and so much future costs by just building your PC and then upgrading over time. Heck, even a Steam Deck is technically, over a period of time might be a better value because you can at least transfer your saves to your computer.
And not only that,
and you can use it as a computer. Sorry, go ahead.
Shameless plug for mouse and keyboard players. If you get a PC and you get used to using this and a keyboard to play shooters, you won't need a controller and aim assist.
Well, I even said, if you guys still want your controller that badly,
you can still use it.
You can still use that with PC and it works just fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not saying you should, but I like having my keyboard and mouse. I like having that freedom to move my shit around. But
I like being able to snap around faster.
There's no reason to be scared of doing a PC anymore. I know there's like a huge console master race still going on. It's been going on for fucking years. But like, drop that mindset. If you're willing to spend a little bit of extra cash, you'll be way happier being able to customize things however you want.
Initially, you're gonna spend a little bit of extra cash initially.
Right.
but it'll
But
last you a lot longer.
after that first purchase, you're going to be spending either less or as much as you would for a new console, and it's going to last you longer.
And better
You're-
performance.
Way better performance and more like just the freedom to be able to set settings the way you want to
Keyboards
be
are
able to
as a
get
real
that
ally. I agree.
extra performance.
That's
Thank you.
a great point.
But no, that's the thing. It's just like I haven't went back to playing on a console mainly unless my PC is out or vacation. Ever since I built my computer.
Yeah.
Because we talk about better graphics, better customization options. Like I like being able to personalize my shit. That's just all it is. You cannot do that with console. It's so locked down tight.
Yep.
You cannot
Mhm.
customize your graphic settings to make your things look better or run better on console.
Not
anything
to
like that.
mention your friends, playing with friends, you have to pay extra for that. Like, what the heck?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
play with all my console buddies on PC. I don't gotta pay for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
to play
if
with
you
them.
think about it, actually, I just thought about it. So if you pay 500, right? You pay 500 for the console. How
Mhm.
much is it monthly for
Let's just do
PlayStation
yearly. I think
Plus?
yearly it's probably $100, maybe
No,
more.
yearly. That's why I'm asking. How much
I
is
think
it
the lowest
monthly?
tier is $11.99.
So $11.99 for the lowest tier. Let's say that they chop that down to $9.99. So you are now paying $120 a year. So add that up for 4 years. That's another
You're pretty much
480.
paying $1,000.
You're paying pretty much $1,000. Get yourself an entry level PC for that money.
And just to finish
Agreed.
off, I want everybody here to know and people watching, with the PlayStation, for 6 years, you had to buy a new console or buy new games every time, or like worry about constant crashes, anything like that. I've been on the same. I was originally on the same motherboard for the entirety of the AM4 lifespan, and was able to upgrade to a 5800X 3D, which
Well,
is like.
not
Go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but not only that, all right. So we've seen this in PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4. A lot of your games did not come to the new consoles, so you
Yeah.
lost those games.
But
And
you know,
then
with PC,
and then they remastered them. You had to buy them again.
Yep.
But
Yep.
guess what? With PC,
I can mod
I'm
that
pl-
10-year-old game, bro. If I
I'm
want to make
playing-
my 10-year-old game look pretty, I can do that. I can play it
Skyrim.
from 2002. I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 2 to this day.
right. So yeah,
Don't have to pay $40 extra.
for
Ooh.
for the price. It's and a
Yep.
lot of people tell me, oh, it's a lot cheaper to get a console.
Not over time, no.
In the grand scheme of things, no, it's
No.
not. Because I don't see your new Xbox playing Xbox 360 games, the original Xbox games. I don't see that happening. You're having to buy games that you already purchased remastered to be able to play them again.
Yep.
Just
So
TLDR, everybody. If you want good value and you want something that can do your workloads, play games, everything, please go watch a Jay's 2 cents video on how to either build a computer or buy a pre-built.
exactly.
Even pre-builts like are a better proposition. Although that's
Just find the right brand. if
or
you're gonna
find
do a
the
pre-built.
find the right brand. very
Find
true.
the right brand, exactly. But yeah, even pre-builts are a better proposition than a console. But moving on
Last but
to
not
something
least,
that I am very, very, very excited
me
for.
too.
All right, let me hear it. What's going on, guys?
HBO Max announced that they are doing a Harry Potter show. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very excited for it, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous because is what I thought whenever they first announced it is that, oh my God, it's going to be, you know,
The
Harry
cursed
Potter
child, right?
after everything happened.
Yeah.
But apparently is what they're doing is they're going back and they're doing an entire series on the original Harry Potter books and movies. This could be a really good thing, or it could go horribly, horribly bad.
Who's
Now,
the
I
writer
wi-
and director?
I will give
I don't think they have a writer yet. One of the
they
executive
should
producers.
have a writer.
I think they're in the phase of getting writers like a team ready. They're still in that phase. but a big thing is like I was just like Twiz said, I was expecting more or less the cursed child, like after the whole Harry Potter thing, maybe they would go on that. But I was a bit surprised when they were like, no, we're excuse me, we're gonna go with the original books, which I'm kind of with him in the sense like, okay, so we had all the movies, they covered the books pretty well. How much more in depth can you go?
Right.
And this is where I'm like, oh boy, are we gonna have like all the filler parts, all the boring per se parts? Are we gonna have maybe what happens in between the movies? Possibly. Sure. Is this gonna be canon? Is it not canon? Like, there's a lot of questions. And with a
I
big,
have a feeling that it will be canon, being that they have J.K. Rowling.
I was about to say, yeah. So I was gonna say like she's one of the executive producers. She's not a writer. Well, obviously because they have the source material.
Well, they're doing a thing like they did with Game of Thrones with George R. R. Martin,
Mhm.
where he's an executive producer for the new shows, for the House of the Dragon,
Oh, I see. I
and
see.
the story of Duncan Egg, and all of this stuff. So, you know, I think that'll be good, because I don't think that J.K. Rowling would let her baby be messed up.
I'm with you. Yeah, I mean that's very fair, but at the same time, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried more about like how much more can we harp on something that already has books on it. It's got movies on it. It's I mean, it so much.
Well, at the same time, we don't know if they're gonna do, you know, if some of the series is gonna be from book 1 to the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and then beyond that.
Okay, okay.
We don't know. That they could be doing that, because then it would feel like a complete series, instead of having to think about Harry Potter just the movies,
Mhm.
and Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, and um I can never remember the names of the actors that portrayed
We know what
Hermione
you're talking
and
about. Yeah.
Ron,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but having to think about them and then switch gears into, okay, these actors as Harry, Ron, and Hermione in later life, they may just be going back to do it that way, and that would be very interesting. And honestly, I would welcome that. Um,
I didn't think about it like that. I'd be okay with that too. I do think you're right. I think this kind of suffers from a thing where like this actor, Daniel Radcliffe, for example, he's been unanimous with Harry Potter for so long that he's essentially taken on the role. It's almost like the Iron Man and what's his name?
if
Person
you wouldn't ask, yeah,
the
if you
person
wouldn't
that
ask
plays
what his
Iron
name
Man.
is.
I forgot his name. Whoever. I think it's whatever it is.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. I can't believe I forgot that. But he's unanimous with Iron Man. It's almost if they do Iron Man with someone else, I feel like it'd kill the Iron Man series. But yeah, it kind of suffers from that syndrome. And now that you mentioned that, it would be kind of interesting to where they go back and start out with a different actor and actress for all the main characters, and kind of bring us into maybe the Cursed Child and beyond. Well, that'd be very interesting. I also think that they can go backwards as well. So it depends.
I mean, it opens a lot of doors for a lot of opportunities, right?
It's like Star Wars. They can either
so
go really forward or really back.
so we already know that they're going to start at the beginning, as far as like the books start.
Yep.
As far as going backwards, it'll probably be more of like flashbacks, and that's fine too. You're going to have way more hours. You're going to have uh a lot more time to be able to do that, instead of in a movie get a 3-minute flashback
That's true. Yeah.
from a memory or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm here for it. Just please don't mess it up.
I'm gonna give my take, even though I haven't like watched Harry Potter in like a fat minute or read the books too much. I did back in the day, but it's been a fat minute. As Noah says in chat, I would love to see them handle it with the care that they're redoing with like the Percy Jackson series. If anybody's watched the movies or read the books, the movies were, part of my language, they were kind of dog shit. Um, the books were good, but they didn't follow the source material well with the movies. So as long as they stick with the source material well and give it the proper care, I think it'll be good. But hopefully, with me, if y'all remember the Last of Us series coming out, even though this is already written out stuff and like games and stuff like that, especially The Witcher, I think if they, do a good portrayal of like, if they're going from the start and add new things like you guys said, or even flashbacks, and they build more on what they already have, when like those subtle ways, but enough to make a difference and still bring like something new to the table, this could be really good. I think it'd be really good for the Harry Potter series and just like as its own thing.
And I'm glad you
Oh,
mentioned The Last of
absolutely.
Us, because they did that with Last of Us. It wasn't all directly from the game. They did add a lot of new things, but they did keep true to the
To
image
the
that
original story.
exactly. And I
And they
think
added on to new the original characters like Bill and all that still.
Speaking
exactly.
of the Last of Us, when is the new season coming out?
Right, right.
And we can all
I
talk
need
about
that
that
in
when
my
it comes
life.
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely will. I love the series. I love the Last of Us series. That was such a masterpiece. That was great. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. I mean, if it's gonna be a flop, it's gonna be a flop. But with something so big as Harry Potter, I don't think they could ruin it.
Well, I not only as something as big as Harry Potter, but they are doing it right. And HBO Max has a history of doing series correctly. Granted, a lot of people will try to argue that fact with Game of Thrones because they didn't like, season
8,
8
yeah.
and 7 maybe. But at the same time, I don't think that that was a fallacy on HBO themselves. I think that that was their writers looking at other prospects
And
and
that's
that
the
fell through.
thing. That's the thing with writers. You don't want them to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
I get everyone that's an artist and writer wants to be original. They want to have their own take on things. They want to
They want to
spring.
have their own spin.
They want to have their own spin. But sometimes, to bring out the best, just stick to the source material. People love the source material for a reason. So I hope we see that and not this whole new like very cookie cutter, as you'd say,
Well, now
thing.
I will say, as far as Game of Thrones goes, there were a lot of things taken out of the books that didn't make it onto the screen because it was deemed too dark.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you actually read the Game of Thrones books, they are pretty dark.
Mm-hmm.
So on that end, I understand that. But with Harry Potter, um,
Especially the beginning
most
books. I don't think there's anything that dark in them.
no, but most of the movies, well, all of the movies stayed very true with just minor things taken out from the books. So I think if they stick along that route and just capitalize on what the movies did and kind of do that same thing,
Mm-hmm.
that it'll be a very successful endeavor, and we could see quite possibly one of the longest running shows on television.
That's a
Hopefully.
big. That's a hard one to be. Are you sure? Because that's a hard goal to set,
I
or
mean,
bar per se.
there is a lot of source material, and J.K. Rowling has said in interviews that she could have continued those books a lot longer than what she did. So
Why didn't they continue with the movies? Is it just the actors didn't want to continue, or what?
I'm not entirely sure on that one. I don't think that the Cursed Child book was out at that time. It came out, years later.
Yeah.
And then, we had the whole fiasco with people trying to cancel some of
Oh
them,
yeah. Okay. Okay.
you
I see.
know. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, there's that.
I mean, yeah, like you said, I'd be excited, especially if they do it where they test the waters, and after season 1, maybe they finish off the whole book trilogy, and then season 2 maybe is the whole Cursed Child trilogy, and so on and so forth. That'd be really cool. I'd be excited because I love the Harry Potter universe. Um, Amazing Beast was not bad, but it definitely didn't have the charm that Harry Potter did. I feel like Harry Potter is more of a what's funny.
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Harry Potter is more of almost like a. I wouldn't say it's for, yeah. I mean, it's for everyone. It really is for any age. It's for any mindset. It's such a approachable movie. Whereas Amazing Beasts, I don't know. It's just each movie felt segmented, and it wasn't like I just don't see the big
You're
arc
talking about Fantastic
or
Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts. I'm sorry, yeah, Fantastic Beasts is what I meant to say. Yes,
And yeah, it did feel segmented. It felt like
the story just
I fe-
didn't continue like the Harry Potter trilogy, in my opinion.
I
well,
understand.
yeah.
It just didn't have that. Harry Potter has that unique charm to it.
It does.
I
It
just don't
does.
think that like Fantastic Beasts was good, at least in my opinion, but it just didn't
I,
have that same feel.
I didn't hate it.
Well,
Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it.
I will say the last movie for Fantastic Beasts felt more like it was leaning towards the Harry Potter universe, whereas the first movie it felt more of like a almost live action Pixar.
Yeah, I can see that. I personally liked more of the Harry Potter like time era and universe because it felt more wizarding and whimsical and like you could watch it with your family at any time. It's almost like it's a Christmas movie sometimes. Whereas Fantastic Beasts, I don't know, it just felt like it was its own thing. Like I said, it's segmented. It just I don't know. It didn't have that charm. You didn't see Harry Potter grow up. It just some guy with a big pouch and animals in it. I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding. Not offending anyone that loved it. I did like them, but like I said, I definitely would prefer Harry Potter over it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think with just the whole, HBO series and all that, I think if they have like a big finale, which is doing the Cursed Child, and they bring back the actors somehow,
Oh,
I
that's a
think
hard one, but yeah.
that'd be a hard one to do. But if they manage to pull that off somehow and give like closure on that story,
I absolutely agree with you.
yeah, we agree with that.
Noah. I would have loved to see
Oh, that's a
more.
really
The
good
other
point.
schools, all of that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Not to
because there's
mention,
Expand the lore.
there's a whole wizarding world in the U.S. that was never
Well,
even touched on.
there's a wizarding world in the U.S., Japan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Romania, I believe it is. Yeah,
Something like
Romania,
that. There's China. There's
um,
one in China too.
France, China. There's wizarding worlds all over the world. So yeah, it would have been very nice to see that, and perhaps we will. Hopefully, we will. That would be great. But yeah,
There's the Merlin
I can't
times
wait.
way back when Merlin was a thing. That was some
Yep.
crazy story. There was some crazy characters that were very powerful back when the Deathly Hallows wizards were still alive and stuff like that. That would be really cool to bring in as a prequel. That would be awesome.
Right.
I mean, there's tons and tons of material here.
But yeah, at the end of the day, HBO normally with bangers like this, they take their time with it. They
Do it right.
devote a lot of money. I mean, there was a Game of Thrones spinoff that the pilot episode cost $32 million, and because they didn't, it wasn't going the way that they wanted it to, they
Mhm.
scrapped it.
Wow.
So
That's a lot of money to throw around.
with a budget like that, I don't think that HBO will do it dirty.
Was The Last of Us on HBO, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It was
So
on HBO.
there's a perfect example. I mean, The Last of Us TV show was massively popular. I mean, hugely successful, and they took their time with it. So I can trust HBO to do it right with that. I have high hopes for this.
I mean, I do too, because like I said, the movies were good and the books were good. I mean, the books were great, the movies were good. As long as they stick to that same, formula and make sure that they stay faithful to the original world, of Harry Potter, then I think we have something good here. I really do.
Agreed.
Whether it be a whole new set of characters or finishing off the books.
By the way, The
Absolutely.
Last of Us season 2 is slated for 2025.
Oh, gotta
Is that
wait a
when
little
this Harry
bit, but
Potter
okay.
series is coming out too?
It's in production now, 2024.
Wow, so HBO has actually two big shows that they're kind of working. Three big shows that they're working
Actually,
People-
not 4.
Oh,
So they
people
have-
gonna be fighting.
They have The Last of Us season 2 that's
Mhm.
coming out 2025. They have Harry Potter, the TV series. They have the ongoing show House of the Dragon, which has been a massive success, and
Love
they
House of the
have
Dragon.
House of the Dragon, and then which is slated to come out sometime this year, uh, I believe summer. And then they have another spinoff of Game of Thrones. It's either the story of Duncan Egg or possibly the Jon Snow one. I don't know. Maybe Noah. Possibly Noah knows. I
There's a,
Noah, do
couldn't
you
there's a
follow.
know? We
small
know you're
delay in
there,
the
Noah. Do
stream.
you know? Does he know?
Right.
And there's a few other shows that we're kind of hoping to see. Think there's well, there was The Last of Us, obviously. Oh, Mandalorian, all the Star Wars ones.
Noah
Yeah,
does
he don't
not
know.
know, chat.
Dang, R.I.P. There's the Star Wars stuff too. There's yeah, there's a few series that we're kind of waiting on there too.
Well, Star Wars is Disney.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I know
no,
it's
no,
something. Sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah.
to mix them. Yeah,
No, what
Disney.
you're just talking about is like series. In
Exactly,
general. Like,
exactly.
there's
Which
people are gonna be fighting over with the bowl of popcorn. Like, hey, what are we watching? Are we watching, Mandalorian, and we're gonna watch Harry Potter? Are we gonna watch The Last of Us and then go watch House of Dragons? There's just a lot of good stuff coming out, which is great.
that's
I
fantastic.
think that's how we
right?
can summarize this topic. Is like we're seeing this, good shows, whether it be based off of books or anything, making a huge comeback. Because for a long time, I just feel like TV's been in a drought. Same with
Which
movies.
Yeah.
I guess this would be a good time to see, announce or see if people would be interested in maybe either a watch along or some sort of commentary on these shows that are coming out, whether it be House of the Dragon or the new Harry Potter series or The Last of Us, whatever,
Or even just like controversies
or
that are
even
going
older
on.
stuff.
Like we'd all be down to do that. I think that'd
Absolutely.
be a really fun time being able to give our opinions on that, like raw, like we're doing right
Like
now.
review every episode, sort of thing, where we all watch and we come together, give our thoughts, kind of like the Angry Joe show, where they review episodes and stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
Can we get a little booth like Angry Joe too?
I'll get us a booth. Okay. That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, let us know what you guys think about that, whether it be in chat or in the comments or on Spotify.
Mhm.
Try something different.
Yeah, and that would be, as Noah said, that would be awesome to kind of love to watch it with our viewers and stuff. I think it'd be really cool. I would be excited. But on that note, thank you everyone for watching. Kind of coming to an end here. Don't forget, you can check us out on Spotify, and if you're on Spotify, come check us out on YouTube. You can see us actually in person, and we have a little topic thingy and a chat posted. So come check us out. Either way, you all want to say it together, right? You'll have that. All right.
Thank you guys for coming on tonight, and thank you guys for podcasting together again. Like always, it's been a good time.
Absolutely.
Take it easy, everybody.
Y'all have a great rest of your night.
See you guys.